I was with Owen Morgan.
Owen Morgan, yeah, okay, but you're not. That's not even part of it. So you can at least hope for
Not AB.
much more
AB is all right. I mean, if
AB's all right. Yeah, that we should
I mean, what I
headline
mean
it.
to
That's
say
right.
is,
Yeah, AB's all right. Right, we're back with another episode of Dream Team on ESPN Cricket 4. The IPL is upon us, and therefore it's only fitting that we flavor this one with some IPL discussion. And we're going to discuss today, and we're going to try and pick, and you know how it happens here. We tend to put our best efforts together and eventually only get trolled by everyone in the world. I see no other reason to expect otherwise this time. So let's introduce the topic. It's simply picking the best current IPL 11. If we are to put an IPL team together right now to play an intergalactical tournament, who are the best players on this planet in the IPL that we can put together. I've got Gaurav Sundararaman because there's no mind in any galaxy as sharp as him when it comes to the IPL. So too Shresh Shah, who has been the best thing that's happened to the Kolkata Knight Riders since, I can't even remember, since Dinesh Karthik was made captain. Anyway, and Varun Shetty is there as well, an RCB tragic by heart who still manages to live on day by day. Gentlemen, welcome. And as I throw this topic open, I'm trying to understand what do we exactly mean by the best current IPL 11. GS, what does that mean to you?
I think based on performing in the IPL, performing at the big stage where the quality of the batsmen and bowlers are very, very high. We all know it's the best league in the world. So how I have gone about picking my team is looking at the last two IPLs, how people have done, how the players have done, and whether they're still in good nick or not, and whether they would be able to perform in UAE amidst these tough conditions.
Okay, let me go to Varun next. Varun, priority to recent IPL form, which would be the last couple of IPLs, or are there other factors that we'd like to consider?
I mean, yeah, my criteria is I'm going to respect the performances of the last 2 or 3 years, but I like to meddle with the status quo. So I have some names in my mind based on the COVID world, the quarantine world, who might be challenging for some of these guys who've sort of made the IPL their own over the last few years.
Shresh, I actually think that the IPL, you can even look at it in isolation. Players do well in the IPL no matter what their form around the world is. And therefore, there are some people that we can look at and think, oh, they're not doing well outside of the IPL. They may not have the best IPL. And every time the IPL comes around, they're ready for the big stage. So it makes it hard sometimes to strike the balance between who's good in the IPL and who's actually showing current form.
That's right. And if it was such an easy decision to make, I think it would make for a very boring show. So it's actually good that we all don't know when we start off who our 11s are going to be. And there are a lot of players who make compelling cases, and we'll discuss more of them as it goes along.
Okay, so the one thing we will do here for the sake of convenience is, I think what we've achieved that is we want to pick players on current form, and whatever the meaning of current form being, whether it's current IPL form, the last couple of IPLs, or current form in terms of what we're seeing, the little bit of cricket that we have seen either in the CPL or in international T20 cricket, or even the last year of cricket in general outside the IPL. What we will look to avoid, with due respect to all the IPL greats, is just aggregate IPL performance, the likes of Chris Gayle. Certainly comes to mind, Lasith Malinga, the other. They're prolific in the history of the IPL. But I think what we're going to veer towards right now are the people that are in their purple patch or still in their purple patch even now, most effective in the IPL even now. So let's go with the overseas players, if I can put that as an isolated discussion. We normally tend to go with batting order, but there are so many permutations and combinations, and we're going to stick to the 4 overseas players rule. So let me hear from each of you who your 4 overseas players are, and hopefully you will name only 4, because I know the tendency is to name 6 or 7 depending on who the counterpart Indians would be. So GS, let me start with you.
So one fundamental criteria I see personally in IPL is how much you perform under pressure, how consistent you are. IPL is a tournament which is very hard to be consistent. Obviously, David Warner, who's an IPL GOAT according to me, the fact that he has just one skill. If you look at all the overseas batsmen who have been bought from various leagues across the world, nobody's even come close. And in fact, even if you look at the openers, we've had guys like Hayden do well occasionally. I think the only person who can even remotely challenge Warner is Chris Gayle. Take this as a situation. Sunrisers every single time are dependent on Warner to perform if they have to succeed and make the playoffs, and he's not let them down at all. So he's actually performed every year. If not for Kohli's amazing 2016, he would have had what, the 4 orange caps in the last 5 years. So Warner is an automatic choice for me. Similarly, Andre Russell. I don't even think I need to justify Andre Russell here. And similarly, Rashid Khan and Sunil Narine. These are the 4 players I've gone for. The reason I've gone for Narine is slightly contentious because his bowling has dropped, his bowling form has dropped. But somehow, when you actually look at the matches which KKR have won, he kills it in the power play. He ends the game in the power play. A lot of people don't understand that value. When you're chasing a score of 170, 180, within 6 overs, you're 50, 55 for 1, and he doesn't waste too many balls. And he's an impact player, which maybe you cannot really measure through averages, but he's a player who's really created a great impact for KKR. So for me, these are the 4 overseas with which I have gone.
All right, Varun, let me have a listen in on your 4 overseas picks and how many of them overlap with GS.
Pretty much all of them, actually. It's hard to argue against Warner in this tournament, whether it's current form or all-time numbers. And like G-Stat said, there's really no one else who's had this much of an impact on a team or on a tournament, apart from maybe Gale himself. My 4 would be Warner, AB de Villiers, Andre Russell, and Rashid Khan. So that's an overlap of 2 if I force it.
Yeah, force it.
AB de Villiers is, I suppose, more or less like Russell. Not a lot needs to be said. I know his performances don't win RCB anything, but that's really not, something he can do anything about. The good part is that every season he continues to be, whether RCB is doing well, whether they're chasing a title, whether they're chasing not being the last team, he seems to be constantly the only person who can be relied upon.
Okay, so I think a lot of good words for David Warner, and I'm going to make it 3 out of 3 for David Warner. Nearly 700 runs last season. The fact that he missed an entire IPL through his suspension doesn't even come into our considerations. Goes to show the impact of David Warner the minute he was back. No one had any doubts whatsoever as to what he'd be. Same way with Rashid Khan, his Sunrisers teammate. He maybe teams now in the CPL as well are playing out Rashid Khan, but again, that's the reason you still pick him, right? Do you not pick Rashid Khan and pick other bowlers that are getting wickets? Well, they get wickets because of the way Rashid Khan is. Would you rather play a second spinner or a third spinner who's getting more wickets? And without Rashid in the team, will he be as impactful? So I think Rashid Khan will always be your first spinner and may never end up getting as many wickets. Now, Russell's a no-brainer for me with the impact in the IPL. I don't look at Russell because I think Russell doesn't care about any cricket other than the IPL. I'm being very honest. So it doesn't matter what he's doing in the CPL. It doesn't matter what he's doing for the West Indies. He just strolls in, he'll roll his arm over and look at all the 9 injuries that he has. But when he does that in the IPL, he does that after completely turning games single-handedly. So not looking beyond Andre Russell, and I would really hope you all don't either. And the 4th one's a bit of a contentious one. Now, the argument I'd make against GS for Narine, and I'm ignoring Narayan's CPL form with due respect to the CPL, is I think Narine, the opening batsman, is sort of been done now. That experiment is either on its last legs or it's in fact even it's been exposed to a degree. Bowlers are smarter in the IPL. I know the Mumbai Indians love both banging it in short to Narine, and that you have seen him struggle as well. And is Narine the bowler my best use of the 4th overseas choice? The answer for that for me is no, because I can put in an Indian spinner who's done well in the IPL, but I would want an overseas quick. So my 4th overseas player, funny enough, is Kagiso Rabada. Just on the evidence of 1 IPL, but again, the only man who could keep Russell quiet when it came to a crunch situation. And I just think the numbers speak for themselves. Rabada got 25 wickets from 12 games, economy of just over 7.5. I'd take that. And again, you saw what happened to the Delhi Capitals bowling after he left or after he wasn't part of the team. So that's the logic I'm going with. I'm happy to hear arguments on other overseas options, but I think I'm outnumbered in terms of overseas seamers who might make this team. So that's my 4. I've gone for Warner, Rashid, Andre Russell, and Rabada. Now, Shresh, over to you. You should be happy. I've picked a KKR guy regardless.
Yeah, but you'd be very pleased to know that Narine doesn't make my team either, and that's because of we've discussed Warner's form to death. But the amazing bit about Warner is that he's been so good that we don't even bother picking up the names of Shane Watson or Joss Butler. Shane Watson in the last 2 years, average of 30 strike rate of 142, and he plays most of his games in Chennai, and we've totally ignored him, and that's because of Warner's class, if not anything else. And Josh Butler, who's in 21 games, he's been scoring at a 47 average, 150 plus strike rate in the IPL, and he could give me a wicket-keeping option as well. And these guys barely get any mention because of how good Warner is. So yeah, Warner is one of my picks. Rashid Khan, yes, he's not been among the wickets in the IPL so much these days because of how teams ought to play him. But that's because the teams know that they have Sid Kaul and Khalil Ahmed who are going to bowl in the death, and they can go after them later. But in an all-star team like this, every bowler is going to be so good that you cannot choose to really play out Rashid Khan. And so Rashid will be amazing. So there's Rashid and there's Warner from me. The next option is, of course, Andre Russell. Nothing to say much. If the team's in trouble, he's going to bail you out more times than not, and he's simply a blockbuster choice. The last one, I'm going to go with Imran Tahir. And that's because I don't really see too many Indian spin options available. And Imran Tahir sort of provides that really killer instinct with the ball with spin. And if you have Rashid and Imran Tahir as the two spinners, I wish the best to all these alien batsmen.
Right. So it does look like we have a majority leaning towards the selection of David Warner, Andre Russell, and Rashid Khan. So a delicious conversation waits for who the fourth overseas player would be. Let's go batting order wise now, and let's throw in the David Warner has to open the batting. So let's talk about who his opening partner would be. And I did throw up KL Rahul in my opening chat. And I mean, at a time where Kohli and Rohit are considered to still be in the best part of their career, KL Rahul has outscored both of them, and I think has had a bigger impact as a batsman than both of them in the last couple of IPLs at least. So we're looking at a man who's got nearly 1,200 runs, average 50 in the last two IPLs, and has deservedly now perhaps earned himself a bigger role at Kings 11 Punjab in terms of captain. So that's my automatic pick.
Absolutely. If his IPL form does not convince you, his India form will. In the last 22 innings, he's been out for single digits only twice, and he scored 950s in the other 20 innings. And this is against international quality bowlers. He has simply bullied bowlers all around the world, be it in India or in New Zealand. And of course, he was amazing in the IPL. He hit one of the fastest 50s there as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to argue against KL Rahul. He's been brilliant, and he has multiple gears. He can play spin well, he can play quicks well, and he can bat through. So Rahul is automatic choice for me as well.
So I was saving this for Varun. It's again one of the many great things that RCB contributes to the IPL, isn't it? The success story that KL Rahul is only because he was let go by his hometown franchise.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the magic of leaving RCB and then you hit your final level as a player, which Rahul certainly has. And I can say this with some confidence. India's best T20 batsman is pretty astounding. He's like you guys have pointed out before me. He's capable of switching between attack and now seeing his side through, which his current side desperately needs of him. He is my pick as well for this slot. I am tempted to bring in Rohit because I personally think of him as the best IPL captain. But purely on merit, I think Rahul keeps anyone else out right now in the IPL.
That's fair. Rohit Sharma, having not quite had the same impact as a batsman at the top of the order, perhaps also works in Rahul's favor. Now, does that also mean that by virtue of picking Warner and Rahul, that the door is closed on someone like Rohit, who I think over time we have established his best utility is at the top of the order for Mumbai Indians? Or do we still have a place to, maybe a case to shoehorn him at 3 or 4, which takes us to that discussion. So, Varun, you can carry on. If we've got Warner and Rahul to open, who's your ideal number 3?
At number 3, I mean, I'm thinking of the choices as, again, Kohli. Raina has been a little up and down, but he has to be in the conversation as an IPL number 3.
But given we're picking a current IPL 11,
yeah, and
just remove Suresh Raina entirely from that.
Again, and here I have to sort of go against the grain a little bit by pushing someone who doesn't normally bat in number 3 up to number 3, and that would be Shreyas Iyer.
Okay.
And I really hope you don't put out my Twitter handle on this video because the Kohli and Raina fans are coming for me. But I don't really see the need. I mean, if I was making a case for Kohli at number 3, my case would be he's someone who will bring you solidity, who will bring you maybe a 130 strike rate, and everyone else can bat around him. But when I think of a T20 team, I don't think of needing such a player at all.
Sure.
So I'm okay with having the adventure of Shreyas Iyer at number 3. I'm okay with having his fearless game. I mean, it's not like he can't adapt either if the situation requires it. So I would have Shreyas Iyer as my number 3.
All right, that's interesting. Let me get GS's views on this. Now, Shreyas Iyer's had a big few months just before the world went into lockdown, GS, and perhaps that could also work in his favor in terms of current form, that he's almost solidified that number 4 position in the ODI team, in the white ball team. He would, you would think, be in the calculations in the T20I team. And therefore, why not just pick someone who looks like he is the best Indian, one of the better Indian batsmen in form, if you are to count current form for India before the lockdown. So strong case for Shreyas, or do you not find a case for him in your team?
Would Shreyas Iyer pick him over Kohli? Is something we need to ask him. So I think, according to me, again, it's Kohli at number 3 for a lot of reasons. One is his fielding. He's an amazing outfielder. The fact that he brings a lot of energy to the team, and he's not going to be a captain in this team. So there's a good chance he can really focus on his batting and do extremely well. And finally, he plays for the RCB, where the pressure is so much high on Kohli, and where he has to perform every single time. Otherwise, they don't perform. They don't do well. Whereas in this team, I think with so many superstars, and you need that one player, like Varun said, though Varun does not want that player, I think we need one person at least who can operate at 130 strike rate and give me consistent runs. He's never had a really, really poor season. I think 2017 was one blip, but otherwise he's always been among the runs. So for me, Kohli is an automatic choice at number 3.
Okay,
I don't think there's any doubt that Kohli will be in the team, at least from my side. But just maybe not at 3. At 3, I mean, he can be at 4 because of guys like Iyer, and a little small mention to Sanju Samson, who's so good on his day and so poor when it's not his day. But I'd also stick with Iyer there. But I'm okay with Kohli at 4. But Kohli's gonna make it for sure in my team, and there's very little argument there.
Kohli, actually, funny enough, was perhaps my 10th pick. I was going position wise, and I picked the big hitters, and I picked the bowlers, and I picked the keeper and the opening bats. And then I realized, okay, now what kind of batsman do you need to balance out Andre Russell? I have Rishabh Pant coming up, and Hardik Pandya, and after KL Rahul and David Warner. And you're trying to think, then you need the batsman for all kinds, right? If you're 10 for 2, would you want to throw in Russell there? Maybe not. Hardik Pandya, maybe not. Pant, maybe not. And my case was, I get Shreyas Iyer, the school of batting that he comes from, or the mold of batsman that he is. So I threw Manish Pandey into that as well. Just in terms of the turnaround that he had for Sunrisers when he finally got batting at 3 again. He had a poor first half, and we've seen how good Manish Pandey has been playing that sort of role for the Sunrisers. But even after that, Manish Pandey, Shreyas Iyer, you have to just look at Virat Kohli and think this is by far the better batsman. I think the problem with that, the only thing I disagree with Shreyas on is I don't think he can bat any lower than 3. So I don't see a team well balanced if you're going to have Shreyas at 3 and Kohli at 4. So it's probably a case to pick between the two. And I with due respect to Shreyas and even Manish Pandey that I mentioned, I'm going to go for Kohli at 3. Like I said, I was almost working backwards, looking at the firepower to come, that I would rather have Kohli there. So that's my case. So I think we look like we've got a case for Kohli from GS, me, Shresht.
Naturally, Kohli makes the team. It's just okay. whether he if Iyer is playing, I'd rather have Iyer play above Kohli. But if Iyer is not playing, Kohli's.
Okay, so let's come back to that and see whether we have place for both of them. Now let's go to what looks like a 4, 5, 6. In Shrey's case, he's already got 3 and 4. In Varun's case, he's gone for Shreyas at 3 and therefore has room for 4, 5, 6. So GS, I'm going to let you take the middle order as a cluster because I think similar types of players would come into the conversation here in terms of 4, 5, 6. Who have you got?
So again, this is a tricky one, right? So this is where it gets a bit difficult because I think 5, 6, 7 is fairly easy for me. To be honest, 5, 6, 7, I think I have Rishabh Pant, Hardik Pandya and an Andre Russell. In any order, it really doesn't matter. Correct. That is what I have. But at 4, I have 2, 3 options. One is if like Varun started off this conversation, if we don't have a Naren, I had an ABD at number 4 as my overseas pick. And in that case, if The other option I have is having Dhoni or Rohit, because ultimately the IPL is won by really astute captains, and you need an excellent captain to to kind of rally the troops and build on strategy. So Rohit and Dhoni are easily the two best IPL captains by a mile. So I'm happy to go with anybody, actually, to be honest. I think both play very similar roles. Rohit can be moved up and Rahul can come at 3 and Kohli can come at 4. I'm happy with that. Or Dhoni as a number 4 and a captain, come wicket keeper. I'm totally happy with that. But 5, 6, 7, I've gone with Hardik, Rishabh Pant and Andre Russell. So.
All right, that's interesting. So I echo those sentiments. I've got Hardik Pandya. I think everybody would go for Hardik Pandya from the balance he'd have as an Indian all-rounder, and the fact that he's been outstanding with bat more than with ball. The numbers speak for themselves. The floater that he is just makes him even more dangerous. And you've got him and Russell. Imagine both of them going on either end. That what target is enough if they are to chase at that time. So you've got Russell and Pandya. I hope no one ignores Pant for the lack of form or the tough mixed year that he has had. I can see some wry smiles. I hope that's in favor of Pant and not, no, we can't pick Pant, because you look at the man's numbers, 684 runs in 2018, struck at 173, nearly 500 runs last year, at a strike rate over 160. And for me, the only batsman who tore into Jasprit Bumrah in the last 2 years. So I don't think you can pick anybody else who really took Bumrah on and just decimated him in one innings, albeit in one innings. So for me, Pant just walks into this team. Again, a keeper option, but I'm just looking at Pant, the batsman here. I very much have Dhoni in my calculations, Gaurav. So in spite of what you and the rest of your Chennai brethren think of my views on CSK, I agree entirely with you that you may pick the 10 best players, but the best team doesn't always win the IPL, like we've seen with CSK. So you need a captain who can get the best out of this team. And no one does that better than Dhoni. And the reason Dhoni would pip someone like Rohit, like you discussed, is the position. And the fact that, like the great man said in his own words, that there is a bit of a luxury position available in a team. And the fact that we've covered the batters, covered the bowlers, Rahul and Pant give you keeping options. You can pick anyone in that position. And I would pick the man who perhaps was guaranteed to bring the best out of them. So Dhoni gets in. Let's not rule out that Dhoni's own IPL form has been nothing short of outstanding in the last 2 years, when you felt like his powers at the international level were on the wane. Over 400 runs at an average of 80 plus in 2019, plenty of not outs, obviously 134 the strike rate. And the year before that, where I thought it was really vintage Dhoni, 150 plus strike rate and 455 runs when Chennai won the IPL on their return to the tournament. So I don't think there's a case to say Dhoni won't have a significant impact even now, even though he's not played cricket for the last 10, 11 months. So yeah, so that's my team. That's the rest of my team. After Kohli, I've got Pant, Russell, Pandya, and Dhoni. Right, Varun? You gave that smile for Rishabh Pant. I want to know what it's all about.
So, as long as we're talking 4, 5, 6, then my number 4 is locked in for AB.
Okay.
You guys have made me rethink number 5, which is where I had Rishabh Pant locked in. But like the rest of the world does with him, I think he has to now battle Dhoni for that spot. It's something the poor guy just can't get enough of. But I'm pretty happy to stand by him right now because the discussions we had earlier about the anchor and the guy who comes in at 10 for 2, I think a combination of Iyer and AB does that just fine for me. They're capable of handling that. And the other thing is, when you're thinking
would a combination of Iyer and AB not be Virat Kohli? Just asking.
It would not, but I take the extra 10 runs in
sure. Sorry,
10 minutes. But the other thing is, this team has Warner and KL Rahul, who we've established that these openers are capable of being anchors as well.
Yeah.
So when I'm picking this team, I'm not picking a number 3 or a number 4 that's coming in necessarily in the power play.
Yeah.
So this batting order has to be packed with power. It has to, you have to think of it as a batting order where the number 5 comes in maybe between 12 and 14 overs. And at that stage, I will go with Pant. And the rest of my order is pretty much the same as Gaurav. It's Pant, it's Russell, and it's Hardik. It doesn't really matter what order they're coming in.
Yeah.
If you're going to go one lower, then there's also Rashid. So he's a pretty capable T20 batsman.
Since I think we'll eventually go with Kohli at 3, my opinion is that I want to talk about 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, 5 and 6, I think I am totally fine with Hardik Pandya and Dre Russ. I'll go punt at 4. You get the fireworks in as early as possible. If the score is 80 for 3, 80 for 2 after say 10 overs, there are so many good batsmen coming up for the next 10 overs to entertain the crowd. And so I'll go punt at 4. I'll go Hardik at 5. I'll go Russell at 6. And I think I'll go DK at 7. Dinesh Karthik, who has been one of India's best finishers. We know the Nidahas Trophy. We've seen it in the IPL as well, to be honest. The guy has been a bit self-sacrificial at Kolkata Knight Riders, where he's allowed some of the younger people to bat higher up, or he himself has batted a bit lower, trying to sort of deal the difficult overs of 18 and 20. He's removed the luxury of a lot of balls from himself and taken the pressure of batting just 10 or 12 balls and scoring 25, 30 runs. So that would be my order. It would be Pant, Hardik, Russell, and Dinesh Karthik at 7. Sorry, Dhoni.
Okay, that's an interesting one. And of course, Shreyas says this in all objectivity and not because DK is the man in charge at KKR. Now, I would humbly submit that I think DK is a bit lost at KKR. I'm not sure how self-sacrificial he was and whether, as good as he was when he played in that short phase for India as a finisher, I'm not sure if DK finished off too many games for Kolkata last year. I mean, not that he had to do much with what Andre Russell was doing, but whenever the opportunity presented itself, I do think Dinesh Karthik maybe in that team did find himself lost. So
his impact's a bit more in the first innings, in the sense of coming in with 9 balls left and hitting 17, 18 runs. Second innings, whenever KKR won, we all know it was Dre Russ sort of helping KKR come out of really difficult situations. So I'll stick my neck out for DK nonetheless.
DK. Okay. The good people of the Knight Riders fan base have noted this because I think DK is outvoted 3-1 in this case.
I have an argument there actually.
Yes, Varun.
I mean, if DK is already self-sacrificial and batting 6 or 7, then why would you pick him also for number 7? Is my big question. And I mean, if anything, if I had DK in my team, he would be at 4. If he's not batting at 3 or 4, if he's batting at 7, then he's affecting my runs at that stage.
Okay, I think
one thing we could do with this team is have each match we can have separate keepers. This team gives room for that for sure.
Yeah, so I think what we've got now, if I'm to just recap the conversation so far, is Warner, Rahul, Kohli, Pant, Russell, and Pandya. So that's 6 set. I think now the toss-up essentially becomes AB de Villiers versus MS Dhoni versus Shreyas Iyer, if at all. And now there's Dinesh Karthik. I think looking at the shape of that batting lineup, are we okay to leave Shreyas Iyer out of discussions now? Or are we still looking at a team which sees Shreyas Iyer and everybody else drop a team down? I think Varun was the one who was mainly advocating for Shreyas. Do you still see a team with Shreyas over Kohli and AB de Villiers?
I mean, no, I don't have any strong arguments to keep those two out, honestly. I mean, the only reason is a personal preference of who I would like at number 3 in terms of batting style. So, yeah, I think we're good to go forward.
All right. So, we've got Kohli in there to note to Shreyas Iyer. You don't have to agree, right? You can still hold on to it. We've had enough times on the show as who comes with his own 11 and leaves with his own 11. So,
yeah.
there's no rule as such. We're just trying to have a nice conversation to engage the same debate in the viewers' minds. So, okay.
Before we go into the bowling, I would just want to throw one more guy's name in, and that is England's white ball captain, Owen Morgan.
Yeah.
I did not discuss him originally, but the more I think of it, I think Morgan he would just fit this team amazingly, just pure entertainment. The guy has an amazing half centuries in the last 1 year, 91, 66, 57, and all of them have come at ridiculous strike rates of over 220. I think he might just have the best strike rate in T20I cricket right now. And I know he might not make the KKR team on his own, but that's just because of how the Kolkata Knight Riders are set up, and not on his. Really, it's not a knock on his own quality.
Come on, your self-sacrificial captain should find him a spot in the team.
That's for another day where I decide which 4 will actually should play for KKR. But we cannot ignore Morgan.
For me, see, Owen Morgan, whatever Shreyas says is correct in terms of form, but how well does he do in really slow pitches where the ball's not coming out to the bat is something which I'm yet to see, and I'm not yet convinced about that. I think in the World Cup as well, when the situation got tight in terms of pitches, low scores, Morgan really didn't deliver. So I think we need to wait and watch how he performs. Maybe I'm happy if he proves me wrong, but we need to see how UAE treats him.
All right, let's go to the bowlers now. And again, we can have this conversation in clusters. We know that Rashid Khan's in this team. I'm very curious to see who the choice of Indian bowlers are that accompany him, because that's the balance that we have to strike with the 4 overseas. So, GS, why don't you give me your bowling lineup first and what the balance of that looks like?
So obviously Bumrah walks in. I'm not even going to go into that.
Yeah.
How I've gone with the other Indian quick is I've looked at power play and death. And Deepak Chahar is my choice for the power play part of the bowling lineup. And Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is or Navdeep Saini. I'm okay with either. Both have had very good performances in the death. Now, again, it's very simple whether to Deepak Chahar has been tried a little bit in the death and he's not really done badly. I was looking at his numbers. He's actually bowled pretty decently in the death last year, but it's too small a sample. So I still rate him as a bowler who can bowl 4 overs up front. So when I actually looked at Bhuvi, Saini, and Chahar, who are my 3 pace bowling options, I think I have to go with Bhuvi purely because he has the skill to do both. He swings the ball, which is very essential in the first few overs when he can take early wickets, and he has a very good Yorker in the death. So he's the one who has proved and has impressed me in both power play and death. Saini is amazing at the death, but I would again wait to see one more year to see how he goes. So Bhuvi, Bumrah walk into my 11, and again, it depends on the combination. If I'm not going for Narain, so Narain is there in one of my teams, right? So if I'm going with Narain, I have 2 spinners, I'm kind of sorted. If I don't have Narain, I'm going for AB, I would go for Shreyas Gopal as my second spinner, who's been really good in the IPL. He's picked up valuable wickets. He's played in pretty difficult conditions as well. And we've had Chahal, we've had Kuldeep, we've had Piyush Chawla, we've had K. Gautam, we've had a lot of spinners, Markanday, Rahul Chahal, all of them have done well, but Gopal's been very consistent and he's picked the big fish. We all know how many times he's picked Kohli and AB de Villiers, and here he's going to be in the same team as Kohli and AB de Villiers in this combination. So
I must perhaps now press you on taking that call. Are you going to pick AB and leave out Narain and pick Shreyas Gopal?
I'm actually okay with both, but yeah, with this combination, looks like AB sits at 4 and Gopal comes in as my second spinner. So Gopal, Bumrah, Bhuvi, and Rashid are my 4 bowlers.
All right, Varun, all yours.
Yeah, so this one's a little difficult for me. So because I have Rashid at 8, like all of us. So if I think Rashid, Bumrah, Bhuvi, and Gopal, these are 4. I mean, maybe not completely fair, but these are 4 players who I don't see a lot of wickets in. These are players, in my opinion, who are really good at T20 bowling at containment. I don't see wickets that regularly from this lineup. So this one's a little difficult for me. And it would be the same if Narayan came in as well. I think people would look to play him out. But I'm going Yuzvendra Chahal as a result of that. Yuzvendra Chahal for the wickets. Bumrah, no doubt, he's there. Again, for me, like Gaurav, it was between Saini and Bhuvi. But considering I have the likes of Russell and the likes of Hardik in the middle overs, I would go Saini just so I have the chance of blasting out a few wickets at the start with the new ball. Saini has pace.
That's 2 RCB guys. Yeah, I'm counting. Go on.
He has pace. He has a great bouncer. He's done pretty well with Yorkers as well. I think I don't have the numbers for his death bowling, but he's got it all and he's got pace. So just for the wickets, I'm going Chahal and Saini, which is ironic. They're part of pretty much the worst bowling lineup in the IPL.
And they've never dismissed Kohli or ABD, so that goes against them as well.
I mean, then there's a strong case for Nitish Rana as well, who's dismissed both Kohli and ABD.
Sure.
And Rana, just to get back on the fandom, just to let you know, my 11 does not have any player from CSK. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a shame because when it comes to actually picking them on merit, you're all the way. Now, Anyway, let's leave that out. Varun, are you done? Is that your team?
I mean, I just want to explain the conflict between having Gopal and Chahal. So the thing is, I've gone for a blockbuster firepower batting lineup. So it would help to have Shreyas Gopal at 9, who's also a pretty good batsman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've prioritized attack with the ball a little more.
I found that argument interesting when you say how impactful as wicket takers is this bowling lineup. Now, it's a dream team, right? And therefore, a fantasy team. And therefore, you probably never have a team which has Bumrah, Rashid Khan, whoever else we're trying to pick here. When we're looking at our trump bowlers, how will we ever see Bumrah and Rashid Khan together, for example, in one team with the kind of money that they demand? So, in my view, the reason that people play these players out, these bowlers out, is because you have other options. You put these bowlers together, and the impact will just, the wicket-taking option comes on its own. That having been said, I do worry about any second Indian seamer at this point. I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar, in spite of what Gaurav said, I don't think we're seeing the best of Bhuvneshwar Kumar anymore. If anything, while he did get among the wickets towards the end of last season, he had a shocking start to the season last IPL. He is expensive now, which is something he wasn't. And I think somewhere injuries have had a role to play as well. He's dipped on pace, so that's made a difference too. So for me, Bumrah is the only Indian fast bowler that I would be, if I was in an opposition lineup, I think a batsman would be worried to face. I don't think batsmen would be worried about playing Bhuvneshwar Kumar in today's day and age. And therefore, my point on wanting to have the extra Indian player in the batting lineup, which I picked eventually, is Dhoni, to open up the overseas slot, not have AB in this team, and open up an overseas slot for a fast bowler, which is where I went with Rabada, where again, you have someone with a new ball, you've got someone who's great at the death, someone who can bowl you a super over, somebody who can get you wickets when you need it. So for me, just the lack of pace options for India, and this is with due respect to Navdeep Saini, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who are very credible bowlers themselves. And the thing about Deepak Chahar is, I'm the only bowler perhaps I'm willing to get into this team. An Indian seamer would be Deepak Chahar. But Deepak Chahar is a bit of a package. You have to have Dhoni in the team to get the best out of Deepak Chahar. Otherwise, I do not see any other captain actually maximizing Deepak Chahar's fairly military medium, maybe a little more than military medium right arm seam, and have him bowl to a certain plan, with such discipline. So for me, Deepak Chahar is a bit of an enigma. I will second GS's point on Shreyas Gopal, though. I think he is surprisingly perhaps the best Indian spinner at the moment, the best Indian spinner at the moment, with due respect to Chahal. I think the numbers would speak to that. The quality of wickets that he takes speaks to that. And consistency over 2 years, big match wicket taker. And he has actually taken more wickets than Chahal in the last couple of years, if that is anything to go by. So for me, Shreyas Gopal does make it. I thought he'd be a left field pick, but I'm happy to see Gaurav's already brought his name up. And yeah, Rashid Khan walks in, Bumrah walks in, no explanations needed. And like I said, I would rather have Rabada in, even though it's on the evidence of just one season, but I'm happy to be outvoted on that. Shresh.
You know what? I think Deepak Chahar is supremely underrated. He was extremely good also in India colours. The guy took, I think, 6 for 7 in a T20I game, including a T20I hat-trick against Bangladesh, if I'm not mistaken. And there was no Dhoni captaining him there. But Deepak Chahar actually sometimes can earn his wicket in the power play. Often bowlers are gifted wickets because the batsmen are going too hard against them. And Chahar is the really good swing bowler. He can get it to swing both ways on his day. In my head, I'm convinced that Deepak Chahar needs to be there above Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
Okay, that's interesting. So it looks like by the shape of our team, if I'm now to come towards the end of our discussion, we'll have to make some calls here. So to recap the lineup, we've got Warner, KL Rahul, and Virat Kohli at 3. Do we have 3 of you sticking with AB de Villiers? That means I get outvoted. So all 3 of you happy with de Villiers in that team? Knowing that takes up, no? Shresh?
If Morgan does not make it, I would keep AB over Shreyas Iyer or someone like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would. I'm happy with that. So AB de Villiers makes that team. We do special mention Shreyas Iyer, special mention Owen Morgan, David Warner, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, and AB de Villiers. That rounds up 4. Rishabh Pant 5, Andre Russell 6. Of course, this batting order is flexible and fluid. Hardik Pandya 7. And that leaves room for 4 more. We've got Rashid Khan and Jasprit Bumrah as confirmed players in that. Now we've got, it looks like 2 votes for Shreyas Gopal in me and GS. Now that Narayan has been ruled out.
Gopal, I'm all good with Gopal as well.
All right, Shreyas Gopal just pips Yuzvendra Chahal. So mention for Chahal. And yes, Varun did make the point as to why he wanted to go for Chahal. But that's a touch and go call, and Gopal tips that one. And now finally the last seamer spot, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Deepak Chahar, Navdeep Saini. So Varun advocated for C. GS was more for Bhuvi, and if you're not giving me my Rabada, then I'll have to go for Deepak Chahar, even though you've not put Dhoni in this team, which I wanted. But so I'm with Chahar. I think Shresh looks like he's backing Chahar. GS still sticking with Bhuvi?
Yeah, because we're looking at a death bowler primarily, and we have Bumrah. And I don't know if Gopal and Rashid have that much
Well, there
bowling
is
in the
Andre
death.
Russell who can be an option at the deaths too.
Hardik bowls a lot
He's
for
the
Mumbai in
best.
the
Yeah,
death
he does.
actually. So yeah, so we'll have to, if we have to make do with that, then maybe I will go with Deepak. Okay with Deepak
Yeah,
Chahar
but
or
to be
Bhuvika.
fair, though, Deepak Chahar actually hasn't been the worst at the death. So if anything, he's shown that he's not just a one-dimensional bowler. He's not your Umesh
Yeah,
Yadav who has to finish off in the first 10, 12 overs or first 13, 14 overs and can't bowl at the death. Varun, are you swayed by Deepak Chahar's conversation, or are you just going to stick to Navdeep Saini regardless?
This is a losing battle for me, but the
You can stick
reason
by
the
it.
reason I picked Saini was, like I said, because I think he would get wickets at the start, and to be fair, Deepak Chahar does a lot of that as well.
Sure.
So it would be an absolutely fair choice to have Deepak Chahar.
I'll be fair. If Navdeep Saini played for any other franchise, he'd probably have a stronger case over here. I'm serious here. I think he's a better bowler than Chahar on just in terms of the assets that he has.
He has pace, he can swing it as well, and he's got a lethal bouncer. So yeah, I'm happy to go Chahar, just being outvoted basically, but
Right.
he gets wickets as well. So yeah.
We have two more things to do. Pick a captain. Well, in this case, maybe even confirm our wicketkeeper and pick a 12th as well. Now, does a 12th man automatically become someone who was close to making the 11? Or do we have a specialist 12th man? Because for me, Ravindra Jadeja is a specialist 12th man.
He's made it to all our dream teams, hasn't
Yeah,
he? as
he's
the 12th
there.
man?
You have him in the field wherever you need him. Of course, the fielder that Jadeja is. And let's say there is a last minute injury here. Jadeja can walk into anybody in place of anybody. Are we looking at a 12th man as the player who most narrowly missed out? In which case, should we throw in an overseas option? It could be Sunil Narayan. It could be Shreyas Iyer with the kind of conversations we've had. So what do we decide? Do we decide that the 12th man will be the player who most narrowly misses out on that 11?
yeah, I think that's pretty fair, and we can take votes for the 12th man as well.
So who do we go for? JS?
Sunil Narayan.
Shresht?
You know it. Sunil
One
Narayan.
more.
No, Sunil.
All right. Varun?
Yeah, Sunil Narayan.
Yeah, I think that works. Fair enough for the kind of impact he's had for so long and continues to be as good on current form. So Sunil Narayan narrowly misses out on this team given the choice of openers that we have are just so good. And now it's about picking a keeper. Will one of those openers be a keeper? Are we going to pick Rahul over Pant as keeper, or is that it's really not it's not a deal breaker in any way? But the better glovesman, who are we going with?
I think I'll go with Pant.
Okay, GS says Pant. Varun?
Yeah, agreed.
Shresht?
I'd go with Pant, and that's only because although I have some doubts over his keeping skills,
Yeah,
I have a
Rahul's
lot
the
of
better
doubts
outfielder.
over his as an outfielder, and so I'd rather have him with the gloves instead of missing catches in the deep.
Yep, fair enough. So you've got that. Pant as keeper, and now finally as captain. Do we have a choice of captain? I'm happy with David Warner if you guys are.
Yeah, Warner is my obvious choice of captain purely because he's won a title and he's managed to get his team to the playoffs in almost every single season they have played. So yes, Warner for me.
Yeah, I think he's also a damn good captain. You know that. Varun?
Yeah, completely agreed. Warner, like, he ticks leadership boxes on every front in terms of performing by example. He's intelligent with numbers, which SRH is a lot of data-heavy decisions. He's been very comfortable leading a team like that, and yeah, the history also matters. He's won a title, so yeah, he ticks all my leadership boxes.
Happy with that, Shresht?
Over Kohli, yes.
All right. Thank you very much, boys. Let's have a quick recap of our ideal team, our dream team, the best IPL 11 at present, best current IPL 11. And the dream team looks as follows. You've got David Warner as captain and KL Rahul to open the batting with him, followed by Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers, Rishabh Pant, Andre Russell, Hardik Pandya, and then the bowlers that include Rashid Khan, Shreyas Gopal, Deepak Chahar, and Jasprit Bumrah. Honorable mentions to, we have Sunil Narayan as our 12th man. Honorable mentions to the likes of Shreyas Iyer, Owen Morgan, Yuzvendra Chahal, MS Dhoni, who, of course, please, I'd like to point out again, I wanted in this team as captain. And I was outvoted ruthlessly by the rest of my brethren. And yes, that pretty much sums it up. Manish Pandey got a mention here as well. So too did Ravindra Jadeja towards the end. We spoke of Navdeep Saini in pretty high numbers. Kagiso Rabada, someone I tried to back, but it ended pretty soon. And yeah, Rohit Sharma got a mention early on as well. So that caps up the honorable mentions. Thank you very much, Shresh, GS, and Varun. Now I'm very curious to see how many of these 11 players that we picked have a sensational IPL 2022. Make sure we don't look like idiots in a couple of months. This was another episode of ESPN Cricinfo Presents Dream Team.